Hello, welcome to my channel, Sea of Infinity. So in this video, I just wanted to talk about the Westworld TV series and just how interesting and intriguing it can be to, watch for those sort of little downloads and codes, if you will. I hadn't seen it in so long that I completely forgot all about it and what happens and everything. So I recently binge watched all the seasons. I'm like, oh my gosh, all the codes, all the downloads. So definitely recommend, if you haven't seen it or haven't seen it in a long time, to kind of rehash some of that awesome information that's kind of contained within it all, from the first season all the way till the fourth season. And why I say that is, not just from a, more generic standpoint of the sort of, storyline of how, such ideas and things like that could be, relevant for our reality in the future with, say, really humanoid looking AI robots or something, not just from that classic standpoint, but also from the sort of idea and perspective of, how there could already be, AI or alien type beings walking among us that we don't even know about. And also just from that greater idea and perspective of what our reality truly actually is, and what we actually are in many aspects as well. Not just the potential of thinking about it in a frame of what AI robots could do, but also what we can do and the potential we have to tap into. It just brings up so many great themes and topics in that way, although not necessarily in the TV show directed as a thing that humans can do. It's kind of just like you kind of not saying the quiet part out loud, reframing it as a story about AI robots, if you will, but it's kind of like just greater little tidbits of just reality and consciousness in and of itself. Particularly with the great themes of loops and looping and different sort of timelines or storylines, if you will, and being able to bring up memories from different timelines and storylines, if you will, whether parallel lifetimes or past or future lifetimes. The ability to connect into infinite source of knowledge within yourself, connected to that divine source knowledge. And things like telepathy and kind of, merging your consciousness, if you will, with the source field or the, external reality field, if you will, to be able to kind of, influence and create things, kind of like, bending the spoon in the Matrix, or, moving a mountain, as, they talked about in biblical times. Really great show for tapping into those sort of themes of consciousness and the abilities of consciousness, whether an AI robot or us as humans, because it all still is consciousness, right? It's all us, it's all the same. And great themes for that sort of idea of a greater sort of dreamlike type simulated matrix reality, holographic quantum field, however you like to sort of think about it and perceive it. Not necessarily having to think about or perceive it in such nefarious terms or ways as it is in the show, but still just those sort of cool, key, fundamental topics and ideas to really help sort of, conceptualize and perceive and understand such things of what we actually truly are and reality itself is. and, you know, our place and relationship in the world with things like AI and aliens, or, you know, extraterrestrials, or what have you, and how it all sort of is connected together in some aspects as, you know, one larger aspect of consciousness. Just, you know, funneled into different vessels, if you will. So yes, definitely recommend, you know, watching or rewatching that show as just a great way to really kind of, you know, pull in some of more of those sort of ideas and what have you into your brain and into your mind, in that sort of way of how sometimes, you know, reading about things or seeing things, or, you know, watching media or what have you that discusses such things can also just sort of really help integrate that knowledge and understanding more for our, you know, sort of back processing mind or subconscious mind or what have you as well. You know, rather than just thinking about it and knowing about it, sometimes getting that sort of same information through different, you know, methods and avenues and channels or what have you really helps to integrate it more wholly and completely. Because then it's not just, you know, channel A over here saying it. You've got, you know, method B and channel C and method H and channel Y, all these different, you know, modes saying it and saying the same sort of information and representing it in different ways, that it really then kind of helps to really absorb that whole picture into, you know, integrating that into our greater mind and consciousness, if you will. You know, so let it, you know, further awaken you and help remind you how divinely powerful you truly are. And I don't know why, but I just feel called as well for the end of this message just to end the note with a little bit of light language to seal the whole message off. So I'll just do that now. Konkreana kashisiana katula kapea kati. Konkreana kashisiano koea katia kati. Punkroeano kueana kashisi kiea kati. Konkreana katea katishi kikiea. Punkreana kashiki siea kati. Konkreana kashisi piea. Rutu koeana kashisi kiea kati. Vrinkano koshoeana kasi. Brukoeana kashiki siea. Runkoneana kashisi kiea katu. Krumeana katika, punkreana katika, kongreana katishkieana kasiyamaru, kushepeana kati. Bye.